Hello everybody, did you miss me? As you have noticed, this is the first video I have uploaded in several months. I unfortunately broke the streak that I had for almost half a year, the streak of weekly uploads and maybe even more often. But the most important thing is that I'm here. I've got a new camera, as you can see. We can switch to the 4K resolution if you want to. And we can take a look even at the rosette pattern. I'm just zooming in, so this is the 10x zoom. Well, this is a bit grainy, of course, but in general, the camera is definitely decent, so I hope it will be useful. Maybe when I showcase my collection, when we take a look at individual cards, maybe want to look at their art and so on. So today I've only got one card to discuss, but this card also brings quite an important topic for discussion with it. This card is Pyramids. This is the only 93-94 card I have acquired this year, and now I have got 11 cards to go to have my complete card pool of 93-94. It's very difficult to get there because this is actually the cheapest card from those. So as you can imagine, we're talking about hundreds and thousands of dollars for the more expensive cards from Legends, Antiquities, and Arabian Nights currently. So, Pyramids, quite iconic. A lot of people make fun of the art. I definitely like it. I am a fan of Amy Weber and her symbolic art. There are so many important and interesting things that she has done. I'm definitely not against the minimalism. If we zoom in, we can see that there is a kind of a grumpy face on that pyramid, but I'm just making things up. The nicer thing is that we have got these very nice palm trees, a kind of a little oasis in the distance. But this card, if you remember, was bought out by a person whose name I'm not going to pronounce because he probably doesn't want to be public in that way. But the thing that you need to know is that he runs the Great Pyramid Scheme channel, and unfortunately I haven't seen any videos from you for a long time in case you're watching this. But the most important thing is that it brings the question of whether MTG Finance, as we call it, is a pyramid scheme, whether these cards have their values that are artificially inflated. It's actually very difficult to answer because, yes, on the one hand, we understand that people try to use these cards as investments because there is a limited number of them. A lot of these cards have been destroyed. Magic has definitely stood the test of time. It is a unique phenomenon, and there are no other games like that. Everybody has heard of the Black Lotus that has sold for hundreds, thousands of dollars. That's definitely something that is iconic. But some of the, let's say, cheaper cards, some cards that are not that iconic, some cards that are not playable. This card is definitely not very playable. And, you know, it's always a pity to look at these artifacts. They definitely have nice effects and might be helpful, might be useful, but when you see the casting cost, you definitely understand that it's not something you're going to play. What would be a fair cost for this card? Maybe 3, and for 1 it could prevent a land from being destroyed. I think it can be played in the Armageddon deck to make Armageddon one-sided. It could be used to save your Mishra's factories, but definitely not with that casting cost. 6 mana, this is the same as casting a Shivan Dragon. And casting a Shivan Dragon may very often mean that you are winning, but this is, as you understand, not that good. So, there is another question that comes with it. And the question is, when do you stop collecting? And I have tried, unfortunately, in vain to draw the line at different cards. At first I said that I'm only going to get the cheaper cards. Then I said I will get the staples. Then I said I will also get one playable deck with the more expensive cards, but then the duels. And, you know, there is actually no stopping you once you start doing that. And the problem is that you are at the same time convincing yourself that you are not just spending money on your hobby, but also doing it as an investment. So you can always trade these cards back. You can always simply sell them. And in the worst case scenario, you will get the same amount of money or maybe a little bit less if you buy listed to a large store to get some money very quickly. Or maybe you will even double your money, triple your money, and so on. I easily have cards that have gone up 10,000%. 10,000%, no, that's not what I wanted to say. They have gone up 10 times, right? So it's 1,000%. But I do have quite a lot of cards like that. And I only bought them about 4 years ago. So this is certainly something that exists. But the question is, are you going to sell these cards? I often ask myself, what needs to happen so that I sell those cards? I didn't sell the cards during the pandemic. I didn't sell the cards when I didn't really have any good cash flow. So I would rather use my credit card than sell those cards. And I don't know. It's very difficult to say because you're so deeply attached to this collection. If I have a spare copy of something, maybe I might sell it. So for instance, I have got 2 Argivan Archaeologists. I have got 2 Gudwin Ifrits, right, if it's the right pronunciation. And I don't really need 2 of these because I don't play them in the deck. So just for the collection, 1 would be enough, but still. So yes, and you know, these 2 topics are interrelated in some way. The question of whether we're going to sell the cards and whether we will be able to sell them for good money, let's say in 10 or 20 years from now. But, you know, the counter argument to saying that Magic cards will only go up is that a lot of people who have some nostalgic memories, a lot of people who are, let's say, deeply connected emotionally with those cards are already in their prime in terms of earning money, in terms of their abilities to accumulate wealth. And some people believe that these prices will not go up much higher because definitely people will always be interested in the Power 9 cards. They will always be interested in dual lands. They will be interested in some cards that will also be EDH staples. But as for these cards, we only know that they're reserved lists, and they are also from the very first expansion of Magic, and that's about it. That's all we know about them. And for most people, this is not enough to justify the price of several $100s that these cards can easily fetch. So, you know, it's still debatable. It's still debatable. But the good thing is that it is still a card that you just get for your collection. It is still something that you do for pleasure. And in that case, you don't really regret doing this. That's, I think, the most important, the most beautiful thing about collecting Magic cards. So here it is. This was my Pyramids card. And please let me know what are your guilty pleasures, maybe we could say, because it's not really something I need, but just building up the collection is really, really nice. So let me know in the comments about your position in terms of collecting Magic cards. Yes, where do you stop? Do you stop at all? Or maybe you even decided one day to trade something to get rid of some of the cards that you didn't really need and traded them for staples or maybe something else. That would be interesting to know. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more. Now we're definitely going to be doing weekly uploads again, and there will be some more focused content. So for instance, next week we're going to have the super pre-modern day. It's going to be absolutely huge, hundreds of cards. And afterwards we will be continuing our discussion mainly of old school cards, art, deck tags, and so on. Thank you for watching. Bye.